MIP family? It's your boy L, APA, coming through with another video. You guys already know what I'm here for, man. Push that content for the youngsters, the reoffenders, and that's just what it is. And as you can tell by the good old caption, that unya, that thumbnail, man, oh man, making or breaking a homie. So let me go ahead and explain what I mean by that. So when we get to prison, um, or even the county jail, right? Um, the cause, right? The suit. There's this whole, um, I guess, mythological, cultural, facade that it's not completely a facade. It really is something that we believe in, but it's used in nefarious ways. And let me go ahead and explain what I mean by that. So when you get to the county jail, you pretty much laced up like, hey, the homies, the camaradas, we're here for each other. There's reglas, build each other, work out, be sound mind, sound body, sound fucking cora. Like I said, we work out, ready for war at all times. We're here for each other. We're here to make a homie, not break them. That type of stuff. When the politica gets a little too vicious and dudes vie for power, that's where it starts getting watered down, and that's where dudes lose uh, uh, um faith in the cause. And a lot of us see it. A lot of us see that it's the dudes that are power hungry, that want to knock down one dude or the other off their position of poder, position of power, and those are the ones that mess it up for the rest of us that are seeing this, and then ultimately see that, you know what, we're these dudes really ain't here for us. These dudes ain't really trying to do the best for the camaradas. It's just see, the cause started a long time ago, right? The organizations that be to protect our brown people, the whites started theirs, blacks started theirs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Norteños started theirs. And at first, it might have been pure, but eventually, there's always going to be somebody with an agenda that's going to mess up that the purity and the intention behind being there for each other, by each other, you know. And without a doubt, throughout the years, man, when I went to prison and all, that's how I learned it in the county jail. You know, you work out together, like I said. You have this freaking sounding off. Uno, dos, o se omiyai, se omiyai. That's Nawa. Um, Whatever workouts from Centinela. Centinela, I think, had the most vicious workouts that I've had ever been in. And we used to do everything in Nawa. Tlachi, nepo, poyicani, pano, tripi. Things like that. Open up a tier, closing a tier, opening up a workout, Cuitzila Pachico, Anqui, Quema, Qui, like Simon Ready, like things like that. And you find pride in our culture because they mixed it up. The organizations that be mix it up with our Aztec culture, our Mayan culture, things like that. In this case, in California, it's more Aztec. My blood roots are Mayan, but nevertheless, we're still indigenous, and we find that type of pride. Um, so the bad eggs, the rotten fruits in the basket, are the ones that use that to their advantage. And you got youngsters that believe, that feed into it in a righteous way. They feed into it. They're like, yeah, hell yeah, man, I feel I belong, you know. And when it's time to go to war, it's time to go to war. Um, and then you start realizing why you're going to war. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about pre cease of hostilities, pre hunger strike, peace treaty. Um, Inevitably, people start seeing it for what it is. And I'm not here to disrespect anybody, organizations, or nothing like that. I'm just saying that they might have, even the organization members may have, they're good dudes, and a lot of them are not. And because of the dudes that are bad, that's why homies start being disillusioned. And at the end of the day, they feel like they own nothing. You know what I'm saying? And I want to talk about the burpee wall, the burpee wall, the burpee wall, the burpee wall. Kern Valley State Prison, and they have him in other prisons, of course. And I just wanted to give you one example of making a homie before you break him. See, in prison, you have this contradiction, right? You have dudes that feel like they're dudes that don't use drugs and sell the drugs, right? They feel like they're better than other camaradas. They feel like they look at other camaradas, like, man, I don't know why you're messing around. You're just a tecato. You're just a dope fiend. This is and that. But those are the same dudes that are selling the dope to them. As long as they make their money, they don't care. But they're preaching this whole agenda, this whole uh, 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 um, philosophy that they think makes them better than the average camarada in the system that uses drugs. And I did a video not too long ago. This is why I wanted to do this one. I did a video not too long ago, and how the homies that never use drugs go in there, and by the time they leave prison or a year or two into prison, they're getting high off heroin. And that's because the majority of people in there use heroin. Trust me, I've seen it, and I'm not knocking them. I was one of them. And what people don't understand is that before, especially before, you're in an environment of war, and you need a release. You need something to calm you down. You need something to take you out of the world. Get your little shot. Boom. Watch a show. Eat with your celly. Feel relaxed. Feel smooth. You know what I'm saying? I am not glorifying this, and I am not encouraging it. I'm just saying some of the reasons why I did it and why other dudes do it. And like I said, you got the dudes that think that their shit don't stink. They're preaching all this fucking the camarada should be fucking sound mind, sound health, sober, boom, ready for guerra. And I agree with that. And then they don't have nobody looking out for them, so they got to make some money, right? And how do they make their money? How do you make the fastest money, most lucrative business in the prison system? Slanging carga, plain and simple. So there's hypocrisy there. So when I hear somebody talking about, oh, I've never used in there, and then they're talking about they had the money bag and this and that, and I'm talking about in prison, when I was in prison, a lot of the dudes that were the connections, they thought that they were the shit because they were sober and this and that, and they look down on their own customers. You know what I'm saying? While claiming that they had love for the cause and the camaradas. And to me, it's just like, that's why a lot of people, a lot of homies, had a disdain, had hatred for these type of dudes. And when I was in Mississippi, I haven't told the stories yet, but when I was in Mississippi fucking around, that's the type of dudes that I used to call out. The dudes that I owed money to, I wasn't right. I was wrong in what I was doing. But even though I was using, I was been with the business. You know what I'm saying? Not glorifying it, just saying. And these are the type of dudes, man, that I used to go to, pick up a few papers and then burn them and tell them, what's up? Let's go on the cell. Let's get paid. They wouldn't do it. They'll go tell on me in the mesa. Straight weenies hiding behind the fucking the feria and the power. And these are the same dudes that'll break a homie, that'll try to fucking report them and try to get them stabbed off the yard. You know what I'm saying? While claiming to have love. Not all of them are like that, but a lot of them are. So the burpee wall, my bad, I digress. But it all is relevant to what I'm leading up to. A lot of camaradas, once the organization members were back out on the yard after the hunger strikes and all that, Kern Valley A yard started getting out of control. They started taking the organization members kindness for weakness, meaning there were so many dudes owing so much money, knowing that there was no more stabbings. They put a stop to stabbings and things like that at the time. And that's a whole nother video I'll do later. But they had put a stop to stabbings because they didn't want to get snatched up again. They don't want to get warehoused again. And a lot of dudes took advantage of that. And you gotta understand that when it comes to this drug addiction, man, dudes are gonna fucking play Russian roulette with their lives. They're gonna play Russian roulette. Just like that story I told on Homeboy from Southside Chicas. Dudes ain't gonna give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? If they're sick, as long as they get their next fix, they'll even burn the senor. And that fool burned the senor and he paid with his life. You know what I'm saying? But the senor did try to help him out. He tried to help him out. He went to great lengths to help him out. The burpee wall consists of individuals that owe money, that are red flagged, doing burpees every day, the whole yard, until they could pay their debt off. $200 is the dope limit in there. If you go past that and you can't pay on time, you get put on a red flag list. And in Kern Valley on a yard, if you were on the red flag list, you had to be on the every single yard. You had to be on the wall doing burpees the whole yard. And there was good camaradas, man. They weren't in trouble. They didn't owe no money. They maybe some of them, most of them didn't. Some of them didn't use, and they were over there doing burpees with the camaradas, trying to make them before they broke them. These weren't dudes that were in positions of power. These are dudes that understood that shit happens, and they were trying to build the homies up. They were trying to keep the homies from going to the other side because they felt like they were being loved. They made a mistake, and these are the camaradas that I want to give a shout out to. You know, um, the ones that would go over there, do some burpees, lift the spirits. The ones that would be like, you know what, fuck that, don't stab him, don't beat him up, make him do some burpees. You know what I'm saying? As long as he's doing good, as long as he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, why violence? We're supposed to be lifting our people, not breaking them. You know, and that's the point of this video. So imagine a wall of about 10, 15 dudes that are in trouble doing burpees all yard, all yard, all yard. They do that not only to embarrass you, but to us to give you quebrada, to give you, what would you rather have? Get stabbed and removed off the yard, beat up off the yard, or do some burpees during the yard while you slowly pay off your debts because you have a drug problem. And like I said, the camaradas come, do burpees with them so they won't be in the wall of shame. Because that's what I used to call it, the wall of shame. And I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't in that motherfucker. A lot of us were. You know what I'm saying? It happens. Sometimes you pick up some dope, you want to party for the Super Bowl. Sometimes you want to fucking party for your birthday. Your people promise you some money. Obviously, prison, just like any other entity out here, you get credit. You know what I'm saying? You get 2 weeks to pay. You know, you can't pay in time. Depending on the connect. They could give you a little more time. It really just up to the discretion of who sold you the shit, right? But my point is sometimes whoever out there promised you some shit, they don't come through. Guess what? You're in trouble. You can't pay. It is what it is, you know. And obviously, man, I used to always have hustles, man. White lightning, drawings. I was slanging myself as well. You know what I'm saying? I was one for a long time slanging dope and getting high at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And I never looked down on camaradas. It's the shady movidas, the ones that really keep you from trying to help a motherfucker. The fools that are giving you fake numbers, fake green dot numbers, things like that. For anybody that knows what the fuck I'm talking about, that's some scandalous shit. Dudes like that ain't got nothing coming. But it is what it is. For those of you that know, you know. I just wanted to say that out there for the youngsters, of course, man. This is the type of shit you have to deal with in there. Eventually you're gonna do so much time that you're gonna want to escape, and you have the dangers of getting strung out. You have the dangers of getting stabbed. You have the dangers of getting killed, and you will never know until you're strung out what type of lengths you would go to get your next fix. And that's why I say don't go to prison. Don't even go there. You know what I'm saying? Like the video if you like the video, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed, guys. I'm gonna drop more content coming. Sorry I've been gone for a little bit, but it is what it is. One life saves, one life blessed. A smart man learns from his mistakes, but a wise man learns from other people's mistakes. Guys, learn from the mistake of others, man. I'm out.